Today's story is about a famous person in the Bible. He was the great-grandson of the people we heard about last week. Do you remember that Abraham and Sarah had a son called Isaac? Well, Isaac had a son called Jacob, and Jacob had let's just open the book and let's hear about the story that we're going to hear about now. It's called Joseph the Dreamer.
Now, Jacob had 12 sons. 12! Can you imagine? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 boys. His favourite one was a boy called Joseph. Joseph was number 11, nearly the youngest. He was a good-looking lad, clever, and his dad thought he was the bee's knees. His dad was so pleased with Joseph, so fond of him, he just couldn't wait to give him things. And so he gave him clothing with colours, lots of colours. And Joseph was pleased with his clothes of colours, and he loved to wear them and show off. And his brothers hated him because Joseph was just a little bit conceited. One day, Joseph came out to his brothers, and his brothers were working hard out in the fields and they're doing all their thing, and his dad said to them, "Go, Joseph, go and see what your brothers are up to." And he went out and he said, "Brothers, I had a dream. I had a dream that we're all binding sheaves of wheat, and my sheaf stood up and your sheaves all bowed down to mine." And the brothers said, "Are you mad? You reckon we're going to bow down to you? Wake up. No way." And the brothers were not happy. Another day, Joseph had another dream. He said, "Brothers, I had another dream." And they went, "Oh no." He said, "I dreamt I was a star, and you were stars. And there's Mum, and there was Dad, the sun and the moon. And all the stars bowed down to me, and the sun and the moon bowed down to me." And the brothers went, "You what?" And even his dad started thinking, "Hey, Joseph, you know, I don't think I'm going to be bowing down to you, son. I think you need to, calm down a bit." But Joseph was pleased with himself and just carried on. And his dad said to him one day, "Joseph, go and see what your brothers are up to." So he went out in his coat. And he went out and he found his brothers a long way away. And his brothers were out there in the heat and the sun with the animals, looking after them. And they saw him coming. And they said to themselves, "Here comes that dreamer. Look at him with his smug little coat on. Look at his fat little face, his smug, cheeky little face. Look at him, so pleased with himself, so self-satisfied. Oh, I can't stand him." And they said, "Let's kill him." Anyway, one of his brothers said, "Oh, maybe not kill him right now. Let's just chuck him down a hole." "Yeah, let's do that." So what did they do? Joseph strolls up in his coat. "Hey, brothers," he says. And they just get hold of him. They rip off his clothes and they throw him in the ground. And they're wondering what to do with him. Should we kill him slowly or should we kill him quickly? And then they see a cloud of dust coming in the distance. They hear a clonking of cowbells, of camel bells. And they see these merchants coming towards them from the south. And one of them says, "Hey, if we kill him, what are we going to get? We could sell him. Why not sell him to the merchants? He can be a slave. We can make money." Ha. So what did they do? They pulled him out of the pit. They lifted him up. And there he was, well-fed, handsome, healthy, strong, clever, good-looking. They said, "Look at this slave. Isn't he good?" And the merchant said, "Yeah, we'll give you 30 pieces of silver for him. Prime material." So they sold him. And Joseph wasn't feeling so happy. Meanwhile, the brothers got hold of the brightly coloured clothes and they ripped them and they got some blood from an animal and they put it on and they took it to their dad. They said, Dad, do you recognise these? And Jacob looked at them and said, oh, they're Joseph's clothes. What's happened to him? And they said, Dad, we don't know. Look, there's blood on them. And Jacob went, oh no. Oh, my son is dead. Oh no. And he was heartbroken. And the brothers actually felt a bit awkward then. They kind of went, oh, didn't think of that. Joseph, meanwhile, was getting taken away. He went with the merchants down to another land called Egypt. Now, in Egypt, there was a good market for handsome young slaves like Joseph, and a man called Potiphar bought him. You look like a good boy, he said. I think I'll have you. And so he took him back to his house. Joseph was clever. He was good looking. He was handsome. He was healthy. And he was a good worker. And Potiphar actually said, this is a good lad. Boy, look after everything in my house, because if you're in charge, I know it'll be okay. And his wife took a bit of a shine. Joseph, she said to him, hey, do you want to come for a walk with me? And Joseph said, no, I can't do that. That'd be wrong. Anyway, Potiphar's wife was angry. She said, husband, guess what? Your little favourite slave was rude to me. And he said, oh, I can't have that. So he took Joseph, sorry son, you're good looking, you're handsome, you're clever, but you can't be rude to my wife. Out. And he threw him in jail. Poor Joseph. First, his brothers attack him. They rip his clothes, they beat him up, they throw him down a hole. Then they sold him to be a slave. They dragged him off to Egypt, to a foreign country he'd never even seen before. They sold him to this bloke he'd never met before. He worked hard, he did everything right. And then his master's wife lied about him and he got thrown into prison. What could go wrong for Joseph that hadn't already happened? And Joseph was in prison. And he was miserable. And he was depressed. And he was sad. What was going to happen now?
Poor Joseph, hated by his brothers, carried off to a strange country, and now a prisoner. Whatever will happen next? Well, we'll find that out next week. Joseph's brothers were so jealous that they behaved really badly. Do you ever feel jealous when somebody has something that you want? Maybe you've got something that your friends are jealous of. Close your eyes now and think of something you could share with your friends. Now I'm going to say a prayer, and if you would like to make it your prayer, say Amen at the end after me. Dear God, sometimes life seems unfair. Other people get the things that we would like to have. Please help us not to be jealous like Joseph's brothers, but to be thankful for all the good things we already have. Help us to share those things with our friends. Amen.